Saturday in the life of a New York City mom. I woke up, took Frankie for a walk, and waited for the kids to wake up. We had nothing planned, so I suggested we go to brunch and the bumper cars in the meatpacking district. Kids were into it. We left at about 11 a.m., passed the ridiculous line for brunch at Bubby's, and drove to the Standard Hotel. The bumper cars are a 10-minute ride and not cheap, but there was no line. It got my kids motivated to get out of the apartment on a nice day and was super fun, so very much worth it, I think. Then we put our names in at Pecora Bianca and walked around the neighborhood while we waited for our table. Harlow noticed Yayoi Kusama's work in Louis Vuitton, so we went in to check it out. Back in 2017, Harlow was in kindergarten and we went to a Yayoi Kusama exhibit on a class field trip. I was one of the chaperones. The exhibit was super popular and there was a line around the block of people who had been there since 5 a.m. because they wanted to take photos for Instagram, and we rolled up in a yellow school bus full of 5-year-olds and bypassed all of them. It was awesome. I remember they gave us 5 minutes in the orb room and said to make sure the kids didn't touch anything. These were 5-year-olds in a small room with literal shiny objects. I was so stressed the whole time. Anyway, crazy to see that 6 years later those same orbs are being sold in a claw machine in Louis Vuitton. Mazzy wanted one, but unfortunately had to buy a Louis Vuitton item to be eligible to play, and that was just not in my budget for the day. The staff was super nice though, and they gave Mazzy and Harlow some pumpkin labels. We continued to walk around the neighborhood, past the self-proclaimed mayor of the meatpacking district, if you know, you know, and then we got the text that it was time to eat. Pecora Bianca is a favorite among Mazzy's friends, and it was fun for her to introduce us to a place she's been a few times without us. Mike, Mazzy, and I all got pasta and salad, while Harlow got the pancakes, which is pretty typical. Harlow will always gravitate to breakfast if it's an option.
My glasses like this. I love them.
After lunch, we walked to the Whitney, where Mike wanted to see the Edward Hopper exhibit. It was sold out, but open to members. It always pays to be members of your favorite museums in New York City. One great thing about going to museums with older kids is that everyone can split up and explore at their own pace. Also, it's important to remember that none of this was planned. We just picked a spot for brunch and one thing led to another. That's why I love living in New York City. We took the subway home, and while my family watched a show on the History Channel that made the invention of Pop-Tarts sound like the Cuban Missile Crisis, I went to dinner for my friend's birthday. We went to Zetanaya at the Ritz Nomad, which is really amazing Mediterranean food, drank some wine, sang happy birthday, and talked about old times when we were all single and living a few blocks from each other in the East Village. Those were the days. After dinner, I picked Harlow up from her friend's house and walked home. She always has the best stories.
And he did it like they were the problem.
Then another friend called me and said she was at a bar down the street, so I went to meet her for one last drink and my favorite basket of bread. I guess when you live in New York City, life in your 40s with 2 kids is pretty fun too.